Hi, guys. How are you doing today? I'm happy to be back on our next live airing of Dr. Sumner's Summit to Wellness. For those of you who are with me, let me know. Let me know if you're here with me today. Say hi or hashtag replay to let me know that you're here. I'm excited to have you here with me today. I am Dr. Felicia Sumner, your board-certified family medicine physician and wellness strategist. I'm dedicated to empowering you and your communities to become well, whole, energized, and loving life. And I currently do this through speaking engagements, telemedicine services, and online coaching services. And I also need to just remind you briefly of a disclaimer that as much as I'm so passionate about helping you by informing you on topics related to your health and wellness, this is not medical advice. This is for informational purposes only. So if you have any specific questions related to your individual diagnosis or treatment plan, then I would be happy to discuss them with you if I'm your doctor. If I'm not your doctor, please discuss them with your doctor. But if you'd like me to be, then just message me or click my Book Me link on my Facebook page or website, and I'd be happy to get you set up for an appointment. I currently see patients in the states of Georgia and Pennsylvania online, and it would be my pleasure to see you. Okay, so now that all of the lovely disclaimers and intros and all that stuff are out of the way, let's get started. I took a poll last night, guys, to see what you would like to discuss, and the response was pretty clear. Many of you wanted to hear about how to deal with these doggone allergies. Came in second place was to talk about preventive methods for colon cancer, which is super, super important as well. So I'll definitely rev that up for a talk very soon, considering also that it's Colon Cancer Awareness Month. So it's not surprising, y'all, that you did choose to talk about allergies. I am no stranger to the itchy, watery eyes and the insane amounts of sneezing, because seasonal allergies, it's something that I personally suffered with for longer than I can remember. So do any of you suffer from allergies, by the way? Let me know. Leave me a comment below if you cannot stand the pollen. I know I'm already over it. As much as I love to see the flowers bloom and the warmer weather, it's been until recently when I've discovered ways to naturally deal with this stuff that spring has been not nearly as enjoyable as it could have been all of these years along. I used to try everything from Zyrtec to Claritin to Allegra to prescription strength allergy meds like Clarinex or Singulair. Either they didn't work or they made me super duper drowsy. So since then, I have been on a mission to do better for myself and also to offer a solution for my patients where many can avoid the super drowsy meds if they have that effect on you. Some people even have the opposite effect where they get like really wired on the allergy medications. And even sometimes you can even avoid the allergy shots that a number of people have to endure. So I don't blame you a bit if you'd rather not take medications for seasonal allergies. So I'd like to share with you some natural ways to get some relief. Okay, so stick with me while we talk about it today. By the way, do any of you suffer from seasonal allergies? And if so, do you have any like natural remedies that you use? I'd love to hear. I'd love to hear from you. All right, so definitely tag your friends, tag your loved ones. Let me know if you suffer from seasonal allergies, and we're going to get started. Let me just pull up something here. My computer's acting kind of funny. Give me a second. There we go. Sorry, I'm having a little glitch. Give me one moment. All right, so we're back on track here. So do any of you suffer from seasonal allergies? Let me know. I'd love to hear from you if that's the case for you, if seasonal allergies are a problem on your end. All right, so let's chat about this. Basically, I wanted to talk about 7 different natural remedies for seasonal allergies, first of all, but also wanted to go over, before we go through that, kind of basically like some of the quick details of what are allergies. Why do people even suffer from them? Okay, so let's talk about that first of all. Basically, why do we get allergies? Why are they so out of control, particularly in the springtime? Why do you think that things are so out of control? What big allergen are so many of us exposed to that tends to cause the majority of the sniffles, the watery eyes, the sneezes? Okay, what do you think is this major offender? So basically, the major offender for most of us is tree pollen. That's the largest culprit of them all, is tree pollen that causes allergies. And the biggest of those is the oak tree, okay? The funnest part about the oak is that most trees, they pollinate over just a 1 to 2 week period, but oak trees, they can pollinate for like 6 to 8 weeks, which is pretty much the entire spring season. So we sometimes refer to spring or seasonal allergies as what we call hay fever, and that's when the symptoms like sinus, skin, and eye irritation, that's when those are triggered. Worldwide, about 30% of adults and 40% of children, they're affected by seasonal allergies. We also call seasonal allergies by other medical terms like hay fever or allergic rhinitis. So what are allergies? Basically, it's an overreaction of your immune system to a normally harmless substance that we call an allergen. The most common allergens are pollen, animal dander, dust, feathers, mites, certain chemicals, and other different foods. But the biggest culprit, like I said, of them all is pollen. And so basically, your immune system, it has a memory. And when a foreign substance like pollen gets tagged by your immune system as a danger to your body tries to do its job, and it creates a customized defender, basically, called an antibody. I'm sure you might have heard that term before, an antibody. And an antibody, it can create a response the next time you're exposed to that allergen. And in some bodies, we get it wrong. It's like if you're in a war and you're wearing white shirts on your team and the other team or the other side is wearing beige shirts. Sometimes you can, someone in your team might mistake a beige shirt for a white shirt or a white shirt for a beige shirt. And that's basically what happens with these allergens. Sometimes you get confused and you attack a white shirt by accident. That's what basically is occurring when people develop a seasonal allergy. Because pollen, it's totally harmless. But sometimes our immune systems, we get it wrong and we label it as harmful. And then this creates an inflammatory response the next time we're exposed to it. Because again, our immune system has a memory and now it's geared up to fight against this offender or allergen. So this inflammatory response that's created, a big part of it is the release of a substance that we call histamine. Have you guys heard that term before? Let me know. This histamine substance, it ends up stimulating nerve cells and it causes the blood vessels in your mucous membranes, especially in like your nose, your nasal passage, your eyes. It causes the blood vessels in these membranes to swell up and leak fluid. And that basically is why we end up with the itchiness, the sneezing, the congestion, the itchy or the sore throat, the runny nose, all from the dilation of those blood vessels in your mucous membranes. And even for me, I get really tired when my allergies start to trigger. And this is very common too. Like you feel really exhausted or tired because your immune system is overworking. So it's not like made up in your head. It can happen. And allergies, they tend to run in families, which does help explain why some people get allergies and others don't. And also exposure in your childhood, it could lessen your chance of developing allergies when you're older. So that's why you might have heard of something called like the dirt theory, where you can expose your child to more dirt and bacteria, pollen, things like that. You have them outside more, and it would lessen your chances of developing allergies later in life. So you might notice or see the people who like are in farm areas and things like that, kids that grow up, they don't tend to have allergies as much when they're exposed to dirt and bacteria all the time. So after hearing this, it makes much more sense when you might be prescribed something called an antihistamine, because that's what the allergic response is. You're exposed to pollen, or some other allergen, which is totally harmless, but your body mistakes it as something that is harmful. Then it creates this immune reaction. It sends out this histamine, which ends up dilating your blood vessels in your nose, your eyes, even sometimes your GI tract. And then you have this awful experience. So that's why we prescribe things like antihistamines to cut off that track, like Claritin or Zyrtec, to block that step in your immune response, or even a steroid to dial down the inflammation. Or some people are even prescribed what's called immunotherapy, which are those allergy shots. And that's when you're exposed to very tiny amounts of the allergen at a time, and then they increase those amounts over time with the shot. So you can basically teach your immune system that it's not a dangerous thing after all. So those are all certainly viable options, but like I mentioned earlier, many people just cannot tolerate those medications because of the side effects, myself included. And usually you end up becoming drowsy or tired, or even the opposite. Like I said, you might feel hyped up or get a headache or something of that nature. So let's chat about some natural remedies with little to no chance for side effects that could help with your spring allergy battles. I'd like to share with you 7 simple and effective methods to help combat seasonal allergies naturally. So number 1, I know I've stressed this before, guys, but I do because I think it's uber important. Your gut health, okay? About 80% of your immune system is essential as its primary defense against all diseases. 80% of your immune system is located in your gut. And so that's why digestive health is so important, even in combating allergies. So how can you help your gut protect against allergies? I would definitely work on eliminating foods that can stimulate these immune overreactions. One especially is genetically modified foods, also known as GMOs. They tend to be more allergenic. They can cause more allergies than conventional foods. The key to healing and sealing your gut is to introduce healthier foods, eliminate inflammation, and support a healthy balance of gut bacteria. So eating fermented foods like kimchi, pickles, sauerkraut, those can help seal and heal your gut. You can also have your doctor, if not a conventional doctor, then a functional medicine or integrative medicine doctor. They can run tests to see if you have a leaky gut, which is a big, big, big contributor to seasonal allergy responses. So if you have no health reason to avoid it, you should talk with your doctor about being tested for leaky gut. Another thing that can help with your gut health is apple cider vinegar. I know you guys have heard about it for a number of different reasons, but it also is helpful with healing your gut, which subsequently heals your immune system and can help combat allergies. It's an excellent source to add natural probiotics to your gut. So you can put in like a capful with your water every morning for an ounce of prevention for relief. And be sure to use the kind of apple cider vinegar that says with the mother. If someone can put that in on the comments for me, with the mother on the bottle. Otherwise, you may not get any of the real benefits of the apple cider vinegar, like the natural protein enzymes or the gut-friendly bacteria. So that's super important. So number 1, heal your gut. Make sure your gut is in good health. That will greatly help combat seasonal allergies. Number 2 is make sure your vitamin D levels are optimized. I know I talk about this a lot too, but I do because it's also so important. Vitamin D affects so many systems in your body, and especially your immune system being one of them. So if you live in a climate where it's difficult to get enough sun exposure, or you have a darker skin tone, then I would consider taking a vitamin D3 supplement. And in most cases, if you opt for a vitamin D3 supplement, you'll need to also boost it with vitamin K2 and magnesium levels so you can properly absorb the vitamin D. Okay, so get your vitamin D levels checked, please, if you have not already. Okay, the optimal level is between 50 and 80, so get your levels checked. Vitamin D is super important to help combat that allergic response. Number 3 is, have you guys heard of this? Something called Butterbur, B-U-T-T-E-R, Butterbur. The scientific name for it, the genus name is Petacites hybridus. So let's stick with butterbur. It's actually a natural antihistamine. It's actually a natural antihistamine. Butterbur was used to treat coughs and asthma as far back as the 17th century. In fact, that's where medicines like antihistamines are originally developed from. It's called butterbur because in the olden days it was used to wrap butter, but the extract is great for relieving fever, nasal allergies, migraine headaches, and it works like an antihistamine without making you drowsy, without that extra side effect. So you can drink it as a tea, you can take it in capsules, they sell it as a supplement. I must warn you though, as butterbur is a member of the ragweed family, so if you're allergic to ragweed or marigold or daisy or chrysanthemum, you should not use butterbur. It can cause a worsened allergic reaction, okay? And also the raw herb should not be used because it contains a substance called pyrrolizidine alkaloids, also known as PAs. So let's stick with that, which is toxic to your liver and your kidneys, and it could even cause cancer. So commercial butterbur products, they've had a lot of those alkaloids removed, so they should say PA free, and then you're safe. So this is just a reminder, though, that even though natural methods to treatment can be super helpful, that doesn't mean that they're completely benign or devoid of side effects. So you should always speak with your doctor before you take any natural herb or supplement, okay? Thanks for typing that in, Miss Tammy. Thanks for joining us. Number 4 of ways that you can combat your allergies naturally is something called quercetin. Quercetin, quercetin. Have any of you heard of this before? Quercetin is a strong antioxidant with proven antiviral and anti-allergy properties. This substance, you can actually find it in several plants, including onions. You can find it in apples, in green tea, and in grapes. So it even becomes more powerful from the anti-allergy perspective when you add it to vitamin C. So a lot of the time you may see the two sold together in an over-the-counter capsule, vitamin C and quercetin together. So just so you know, though, if you're taking a quercetin supplement, which I do, it helps dramatically with my allergies. The effects are usually not immediate, so it's best to start taking it before the allergy season starts and continue to take it up into the summertime. The usual dose is about 500 milligrams twice a day. But if you're not a big fan of pills, that's okay. You can also eat more apples, more onions, drink more green tea, as those naturally have a great amount of quercetin in it, okay? And that will help fight your allergy response. So number 4 was quercetin. Number 5 method of being able to combat allergies naturally is vitamin C. Vitamin C is a natural antihistamine found in fruits and vegetables. It can also be found in supplements. So many people, I don't know if you've experienced this or know someone who have, but you can take a vitamin C supplement and get loose stools with the conventional oral vitamin C at high doses especially. But there is a formulation called liposomal vitamin C if you deal with loose stools and you take vitamin C. And that doesn't have the same side effect, and it provides much greater blood levels, similar to if you were to get vitamin C intravenously or like IV. So usually you need to take 500 to 1,000 milligrams 3 times a day. So with like breakfast, lunch, and dinner to reduce allergy symptoms. And also eating a diet that's rich in fruits and veggies, that'll get you plenty of natural vitamin C. So the good news with vitamin C is it's pretty much nearly impossible to overdose on vitamin C. So take a supplement or eat many more fruits, eat more veggies, you might see a major difference in your ability to deal with the allergy season. Miss Tammy asked, what if my computer is acting so funky today. What if you've been tested and no allergens have been found, yet you are suffering year-round? That's a great question. The thing is, we don't yet have the ability in every lab test to test for every single allergen under the complete sun. We are testing typically for the most common allergens, and it depends on what your doctor really tested for. So there's food allergen panels, there's pollen allergen panels. Some are the standard, some are much more comprehensive. So it's possible that you still could have something you're allergic to and it wasn't detected in your test. You might need a more comprehensive test, or it may actually be something that we don't even have a test for. But most of the common seasonal allergies are due to a particular pollen, usually due to a grass or a tree pollen, which we can detect. You just have to be sure that your doctor is running the appropriate allergen panel for you. Okay, hope that answered your question, Tammy. Number 6 we'll talk about is another method to help combat allergies effectively and naturally. The last 2 suggestions that I have are a bit more practical. So number 6 is a neti pot, N-E-T-I pot. Have any of you heard of this before? Have any of you used a neti pot before? I have some patients who literally swear by it, and I've used it a couple of times myself, and it has saved the day for me on some days. So this is a physical way of removing the pollen from your nasal passages. Basically, the neti pot, it's like a blue, now they have it in plastic. You can get it at any retail pharmacy most of the time in the section with cold, cough, congestion stuff. Basically, it's a small pot with a out, and the pot is filled with, you should fill it with distilled water, and it comes with a little salt packet that you put in as well. And it's administered through one nostril, and then the liquid flows through the nasal passage and out the other nostril. So if you use the neti pot, it's really, really super, super important to not use tap water in your neti pot. We're not saying it for money's sake, okay? I'll tell you why. Because in rare cases, the tap water, it could trigger a deadly brain infection from an amoeba, basically kind of like a parasite that's commonly found in lakes, rivers, and hot springs. So yeah, please don't do that, because although your stomach acid, it kills the amoeba quickly, it may live and reproduce in your nasal passages, travel through your sinuses, and into your brain. So it's really not worth the risk. Just buy the distilled water, please. And the salt solution is also helpful because it helps to loosen the mucus in your nasal passages. So that may, help with the pollen that's embedded or stuck in your nasal passage, okay? The treatment is actually pretty easy, and it's a cheap means of removing the pollen you've acquired during the day, and it may help reduce your symptoms. So if you're not like squeaky about things being in your nose, or you don't have that fear of drowning, because there are a handful of people who feel that way, like they're drowning when they use it, but there are no reported cases of anyone actually drowning from the neti pot, guys. If you're not squeamish about those things, then I would say give it a try. It really can make a difference. It has for a lot of people, myself included, a number of my patients. Number 7 way to combat allergies naturally and effectively, and last, is be practical. Reduce your exposure to these allergens, these pollens, as much as you can. That means trying to avoid the clothing that's made of synthetic fabrics, because they can actually produce an electric charge when they're rubbed, which will attract pollen and make it stick more to your clothing. So better options include the more natural fibers like cotton, for example. And if you exercise outdoors, try to either make it before dawn, in the late afternoon, or early evening, because pollen counts are at the lowest during those particular times. And if you like to garden but you have a tough time because of allergies, then definitely wear gloves and a mask. To filter pollen, it's recommended that you have a National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health, also known as NIOSH, rated 95 filter mask. Also avoid touching your eyes when you're done with being outside, and be sure to take a shower and wash your clothes if you've been outside for an extended period of time. And you can also reduce your exposure to indoor allergens like dust, mites, animal dander, things like that by regularly vacuuming your home, including furniture, and ideally with a HEPA filter vacuum cleaner. And leave your shoes by the door so you can avoid trekking dirt through the house, which also might have some pollen or other allergens in it. And use a dehumidifier or a HEPA filter air purifier in your home. Okay, so those were 7 tips to help you naturally combat this lovely allergy season. Was this helpful, guys? Let me know. Comment below. Definitely share this video with others if you found this info beneficial for you, for your health, for someone you love and care about. Let me know. I'd like to hear if it was helpful for you. I hope it was, because you guys voted. You wanted to hear about this, so I do hope that it was helpful information. But what other questions do you have? Tammy asked, also, are hives different? Yeah, when it comes to allergic response, we are talking more so about seasonal allergies right now, Tammy, but yes, it still is the same kind of process. You're exposed to an allergen. Your body decides that even though it's harmless to most people, it's harmful to you. Your body makes that decision. Your immune system does. And then the next time you're exposed to it, you secrete a number of chemicals to build up this inflammation and allergic response. It's the same kind of thing. It's just you end up releasing with hives much more of a compound called IgE at a much earlier stage. But it's the same thing. It's the same thing, basically. Okay, so if you have any questions, let me know. But really, it's been a crazy allergy season already. I don't know if you guys are experiencing this yet, but I've seen it, and I do hope that these suggestions will make a difference. So to recap, we talked about number 1, so ways to combat seasonal allergies effectively and naturally. Number 1 is gut health. So make sure you're keeping your gut healthy, because 80% of your immune system is in your gut. So eat healthy, natural foods. Try to seed your gut with natural probiotics like apple cider vinegar, sauerkraut, kimchi. Check with your doctor if you could have leaky gut syndrome. You can be tested for that. Number 2 is optimize your vitamin D levels. I know I say it a lot because it's super important. So it should be between 50 to 80. Have I said this enough yet, y'all? So get it checked, please. Number 3 is consider a PA-free Butterbur supplement to help you fight allergies naturally. Number 4 is try a quercetin supplement, Quercetin supplement, or eat more apples or onions and drink more green tea, which are all high in quercetin. And this is a natural antihistamine. Excuse me. Number 5 is add some vitamin C to your diet by eating more fruits and veggies, or take a vitamin C supplement. Number 6 is if you haven't tried an neti pot, give it a chance, but be sure to use distilled water with the salt packets, please. It's not worth cheaping it out with the tap water. And number 7 is reduce your exposure to these allergens as much as you can by things like wearing cotton clothing, wear gloves and mask if you're out for an extended period of time or you're gardening. Use an HEPA filter, air purifier in your home, etc. Okay, so awesome. I definitely practice a few of these for myself, and they've made a world of a difference for me. Those of you who've been around me long enough know that I used to love the spring weather, but hated the effects it would have on me due to allergies. So now I can pretty much live, and I can continue to practice working on my gut health, diet, air quality, etc. I think it'll only get better, and I'm hoping the same for my patients. A lot of people have had great successes with some of these suggestions. So definitely let me know if this was helpful for you. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. And I'm so happy to have you guys join me today. Next week, I'll be talking about a topic I'm very passionate about regarding providing care as a family medicine doctor. So I do hope you can join me next Thursday at our regular time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. I hope to have I even have a special announcement, I think, to share with you all next week. So I hope to have you all with me. Please put it on your calendars. Until next time, though, be well, guys. Whole, energized, and loving life. Take care. Have a great rest of your day.